In the heart of Africa, two mighty giants are forced to share a home. They live and clash in a river world shaped by the changing seasons, where every day can become a battle for survival. As water levels drop, tensions rise, pushing these colossal neighbors even closer to conflict. One small misstep can tip the balance from fragile peace to all-out war. Throughout Africa, rivers form vital lifelines across the landscape, sustaining a vast array of wildlife. Yet these winding waterways can turn into battlegrounds under the relentless heat of the sun. Here, two of the continent's most formidable creatures share the same territory. The hippopotamus and the Nile crocodile. Both depend on the river for survival, and when the dry season sets in, every remaining pocket of water becomes prime real estate. Surprisingly, hippos can be tolerant, even curious, toward their scaly neighbors. Although both species need the shrinking pools, this river is primarily hippo territory. These 3-ton heavyweights need the water to keep them cool, and thick coats of mud to protect their sensitive skin from the sun's unrelenting heat. Making even these muddy shallows a lifeline. Crocodiles have evolved a very different way to beat the oppressive heat. They dig tunnels or croc caves into the riverbanks, where these sun-baked reptiles can escape the scorching rays. These burrows soon become a precious resource, and each one is fiercely defended. They may look small from the outside, but some stretch as far as 10 meters underground and can hold dozens of crocodiles at a time. In fact, the Nile crocodile is the largest predator known to build such impressive shelters. A vibrant cast of birds injects fresh energy into these dwindling pools. Gray herons prowl the shallows, while oxpeckers groom the hippos by snacking on pesky ticks. Marabou storks gather in large numbers around these natural dams. All drawn by the chance to feast on catfish. For crocodiles, these fish are a reliable meal when bigger prey is scarce. There's enough food for everyone. Regal African fish eagles often sit back and let others do the hard work. before swooping in for a last-second grab. As the waters recede, it quickly becomes a free-for-all. One fish eagle, emboldened by its earlier success, isn't shy about trying its luck again. Fish eagles even raid each other's catches, though not always successfully. And every now and then, a lucky catfish escapes the jaws of a juvenile croc. Despite all the bird life, the river still belongs to two heavyweights, hippos and crocodiles, rivals at the heart of Africa's river battlefront. Hippos might be herbivores, but they're famously aggressive and unpredictable. As the water levels drop, a dominant bull gathers his females in a small, shrinking pool under his watchful guard. On the periphery, a young hippo, still lacking proper tusks, wrestles with an older sibling to find his place in the pod. This playful sparring is practice for more serious fights he'll face when he's older. Once this young bull grows into a bachelor in his prime, physical confrontation, or even the mere threat of it, becomes the only way to advance in hippo society. Adult fights kick off with dramatic head splashing. Followed by wide, threatening yawns to show off their formidable teeth. Next, the challenger flings dung to mark his territory, an effective way to make his presence known. Yet, despite their aggression, hippo tempers can flare up and cool down in a flash. The dominant bull reasserts his control over the river by spreading his own scent. Before making the most of his status. Hippos aren't monogamous. The dominant bull will typically mate with several females in his territory. When mating, the females stay mostly underwater, only surfacing for air when needed. In about 8 months, if all goes well, she'll give birth to a single calf. Neighboring crocodiles settle their differences with full body slams. These reptiles can produce a surprising range of vocalizations, but a silent, wide-open gape is one of their most intimidating threat displays. As with hippos, most of these confrontations are all about territory. Especially the best places to feed and nest. On land, a devoted crocodile mother prepares to carefully ferry her newly hatched babies to the safety of the river. Just minutes old, these tiny reptiles depend entirely on her to survive. She's watched over the nest from her riverside cave for the last 3 months. But now, they're at their most vulnerable. With a precious mouthful of hatchlings, she makes several quick round trips to the water, leaving the nest briefly exposed. Restricted to this dwindling pool, the mother crocodile gently releases her first wave of hatchlings into the shallows. Lurking nearby is a monitor lizard, an expert nest raider. It flicks its forked tongue to pick up the scent of prey. These opportunistic hunters will devour any unguarded eggs or hatchlings they find. But this dedicated mother is more than capable of defending her young. As the water continues to recede, the monitor lizard will get another opportunity. Despite her vigilance, the odds remain firmly stacked against the crocodile mother. Patience is everything in this river battlefront. A watchful fish eagle hovers nearby, just as eager for an easy meal. As the crocodile mother carefully loads the next batch of hatchlings into her throat pouch, another croc approaches. It's enough to scare off the eagle. During this crucial time, mother crocodiles often work together to ferry all the newborns safely to the water. Once the hatchlings reach the river, each female will guard her own brood for the next few months. It's a remarkable display of maternal care, especially when only 1 in 100 hatchlings will survive to adulthood. Biding their time, fish eagles persist with their bullying tactics, often picking fights among themselves. Learning from its peers, one juvenile is already mimicking these bold raids. Except this marabou isn't so easily bullied. Even in the water, the young hatchlings are vulnerable to aerial attacks. But the mother croc is surprisingly agile, capable of launching herself straight up out of the water to defend her young. An unwelcome surprise for any low-flying fish eagle looking for an easy meal. However, the monitor lizard is the biggest threat to the mother crocodile's eggs. It's discovered her nest, unguarded and full of promise. The mother finds herself in a tight spot. Several of her hatchlings are scattered nearby, while a large cannibalistic male waits patiently for any chance to grab a snack. The young crocs stand very little chance without their mother's help, and her attention is divided. One hatchling tries to scramble back to the safety of its mother. While another attempts to climb the steep bank. With the mother unable to move, the monitor lizard helps itself to the exposed nest. The hatchling loses its footing, falling dangerously close to the awaiting male. Then, an unfortunate flick of the mother's tail sends the young croc back towards danger. One misstep could mean disaster. Miraculously, the hatchling manages to escape. The male croc, with only a mouthful of mud for its troubles, bides its time. It won't be long until another hatchling tries to escape. But once again, luck is on its side. The mother croc repositions herself between the persistent male and her offspring. The male moves off, but the mother's problems are not over. Back at the nest, the monitor lizard makes the most of the unguarded eggs. If the shells are soft enough, it will swallow them right away. In a single sitting, a monitor lizard can devour nearly half of a clutch. The mother croc makes her way back to the nest. And sends the lizard scurrying back into the undergrowth. But she's too late to save one of her hatchlings. The fish eagle has claimed its prize. Despite these losses, the croc mother is driven by instinct to keep relocating every hatchling to the water. For such a powerful predator, she's astonishingly gentle, turning one of the most fearsome places in nature into a temporary nursery. With the river shrinking, her options are limited, and she must keep a watchful eye on a smaller male loitering nearby. Baby crocs are natural swimmers, and once released, their instinct is to gather near the bank of their mother's cave. Some need a little more encouragement to take the plunge. The mother makes sure the smaller male gets the message. In crocodile society, size usually wins. So she must deter all would-be threats, including the larger male who's returned. This time, she's even more forceful, driving him off. He vents his frustration on a smaller male instead. Bee eaters oversee her continued vigilance. She'll hold off the threats as long as she can. All for the sake of her future hatchlings. While a crocodile mother may watch over as many as 50 hatchlings, a hippo mother typically cares for just one calf at a time. As long as the youngster stays close, she usually doesn't need to fend off predators. However, the biggest risk to a young hippo is to be caught in the crossfire between rival bulls fighting. Even a brief dispute can turn physical in the blink of an eye. Further downriver, the mother crocodile is once again on the defensive. This time, her opponent is another female, also protecting her vulnerable young. As the river shrinks and space runs out, so does everyone's patience. A Nile crocodile's bite is among the planet's strongest. And the bigger the croc, the more powerful the jaws. Escaping without significant injury is rare in battle. One unfortunate crocodile has lost the use of its entire lower jaw, an injury that makes feeding almost impossible. Yet this resilient reptile still manages to survive on fish and scraps. Back at the hippo pod, what began as a threatening display turns into outright combat. For a bull hippo, aggression is almost second nature. Once he's chased off one challenger, he'll quickly turn on another. This seasoned bull bears the scars of many battles. Yet the new contender stands his ground. Despite all the splashing and gaping jaws, there's still no direct contact. Eventually, the dominant bull backs off, giving oxpeckers a chance to tend to his old wounds. And the newcomer slips away while he can. But even these powerful animals can't escape old age or natural causes. A young hippo has lost its mother. But crocodiles quickly take advantage of an easy meal, starting with the most accessible parts of the carcass. One hippo shows an unusual interest in the remains, possibly mourning the loss. While another drives off unrelated herd members. The orphan calf lingers beside its mother, unwilling to leave. Even as more crocodiles gather around the carcass. For the moment, it stands its ground. But the feast is unstoppable. Soon, the remains will be picked clean, and the young hippo will have no choice but to retreat. Yet another sobering reminder of the harsh realities in this river battlefront. On the riverbank, things have turned serious between a young contender and the aging dominant bull. These aren't mere warning signals anymore. This is an all-out battle. The older bull knows he's past his prime. While the challenger sees a chance to seize control. And with it, the right to mate with the females. But as the fight drags on, sheer exhaustion blunts their ferocity, bringing a tense pause to the struggle for dominance. Adult hippos face just two true threats: other hippos and the draining sun that dries their habitat. As water evaporates, it leaves behind thick, sticky mud. Space is now at a premium, and despite the conditions, hardy catfish manage to survive in these shallow, muddy pools. Unlike other fish, catfish can breathe through their mucus-covered skin. This allows them to thrive in surprisingly low oxygen waters. They're so tough that without natural predators, they'd quickly overwhelm the local fish species and disrupt the entire river ecosystem. They have little to fear from hippos, unless accidentally crushed underfoot. Marabou storks, however, pose a bigger danger. Capitalizing on the catfish's visibility in these cramped waters. Their movement can quickly draw a crowd of hungry birds. While the birds squabble over this easy prey, a larger, more dramatic conflict is about to erupt. Africa's biggest reptile has come face to face with the continent's most famous big cat. The lions are feasting on a dead hippo, and sharing isn't in either predator's nature. A patient Nile crocodile might grab a quick bite. But both apex hunters know how risky a full-scale fight can be. The lions fend off the encroaching crocs with swipes of their claws and plenty of attitude. Yet the crocodile's armor plating and determination hold firm. As one lion steps away, the carcass continues to dwindle. And boldness could be rewarded. Slowly, the advantage shifts toward the advancing crocs. Though the lions still dominate, as long as they're feeding and powerful enough to defend their meal. Even so, Nile crocodiles, ancient survivors that outlived the dinosaurs, will bide their time until they can claim their share. In the short term, seasons may change, but both crocs and hippos remain true to their prehistoric roots. Making every day a new chapter in this turbulent African river battlefront.